Welcome to a physics lesson you'll never forget. This is a physics lesson in actual reality. You've heard all the other stuff, you've been raised on it, you've listened to it, it's written in books, hundreds of years of it, all fabricated on the basis of one spinning ball and a magical word called gravity. Well, this is physics, the untold story of our universe, the actual universe we live in. You all think you live on a spinning ball, planet, sun, moon, all moving on this nice ecliptic, they call it, around the spinning ball as the ball turns. We know the Milky Way comes across roughly 60 degrees to the equator, to the ecliptic. That's what you've led to believe. You've also been led to believe that the magnetic fields from the south travel all the way to the north. They come out of here, travel all the way up there. Does anybody know why? Does anyone know why a magnetic field will just come out of here and travel all the way up to there? For what reason? Have they explained this to you? No. All science tells you is magnetic opposites attract. If they attract, why would the north not come down here to this region and the south come up to this region and meet there? Why does the south go all the way up there? How can it actually get around the ball right up to here? What in nature would take something from here that wanted to be there? Birds, they fly north or south for a reason. What is the reason for a magnetic field to flow from there to there? At the same time, the analogy is magnetics attract. Why wouldn't it come to here and that to there? Well, I'll tell you, that's exactly what happens. Magnetic fields come out of the south, magnetic fields come out of the north, and they meet at the equator in reality. This is actual universal design, here and here, not there. You don't live on a spinning ball. You live here, on a circular flat earth. That Milky Way sits right here in the centre, Arctic Circle. It cannot be seen. Roger Penrose, physicist, and two other associates have just won a Nobel Prize for declaring a black hole in the Milky Way. The Milky Way is a vacuum. It is a black hole. It's where the sun is. That's where singularity is. Everything began here, because this is a magnetic field. It's magnetic induction. See, in our physical world, we live out here. That's the centre north. Everything is outward show. So everything's physical. So we see an electrical wire, a curl of electrical wire, that creates a magnetic field. We don't see the magnetic field with our eyes. We don't even see the electrical current, but we have the physical appearance of a copper wire. So we know electricity travels through that wire, but you don't see the magnetic field. Well, this is the physical world. This is the non-physical world. This is the world you cannot see. Roger Penrose, they won their Nobel Prize on the basis that there's a black hole, and this is invisible. An invisible vortex. And this is what it is. It is a invisible vortex in the centre of our Arctic Circle. It's elevated, it's quite high up. We do not see anything that's going on in there. But this is a magnetic field. Our whole Earth is a magnetic field. This field around here is magnetic. You can't get through it. It's like the repulsion. The opposites, two positives, say, in that magnetic bounce. You cannot get up there, can't get out. And in here there's no magnetic field. There's a magnetic vortex in there, creating this magnetism, creating this field. So we have a magnetic field in here that's created the electrical circuit in the centre. The pressure's built up, cross circuit has created the voltage. The sun is the voltage. We can't even see that. We can't even see that because it's electrical. We can't see electrical current. We only know in our world a copper wire, you know, that the electrical current's moving through it. So we've got a magnetic field you cannot see, created an electrical current we cannot see. You cannot see it. What's this in here? This is the Milky Way. We cannot even see the Milky Way during the day, can we? No. But we can see the Milky Way at night when the black in the vortex, the sun on this side, reflecting out this side, has highlighted all the light onto that side of the world. This is the dark side. So there's the light in the day side, the night side. Now, in a vacuum, amplification, it acts as an amplifier. If you go look up, if you understand the magnetron in the microwave, that's not an amplifier system, but there's two other systems. I can't think of the name, but go to magnetron and then look up the other two. Vacuum systems, and you'll start to understand what's going on in here. And while you're at it, you can look up induction, magnetic induction, how it works, understand all that. This is exactly what's happening in here, the same thing. A magnetic field that keeps the electrical circuit balanced. There's quite a few videos on YouTube to go to that will explain all that system. So in reality, the magnetic fields do not go from there to there. There's your flat plane of Earth. The magnetic fields, if I put this up over my head and I'm in the south, it'll go straight up like this. So I'll see everything coming right to left. So I put that over my head. In the morning, I see everything travelling this way. So the magnetic field will be going like this. Everything travels like this. East to west. Put that over your head and you'll see it moving from right to left, from the south, east to west. And it goes straight around. We can't tell, it looks straight to us, but it's curving like this. It curves. And out of the centre comes the other magnetic field. With a magnetic field coming out of the North Arctic Circle to this region, and we have one coming from the south. And they meet at the tropics. The magnetic field comes up, hits the tropics, comes down through the earth and up south. This is what it's doing. Now, it goes around like that. This is negative down here, negative. Down through there, down through the side, then comes across, cuts up, back up this way. Science is not telling you this for a reason. Because if they explain this, they get all confused, or will then have to admit that Earth is flat, like this. All they will tell you is the solar winds will meet here. If you look up airplane flights or anything, ask a pilot what happens when you get to the equator region, the tropics, the winds. It's the magnetic field. They meet here. And what they do is they're attracted to the heavier moisture in the tropics. This is the duality here. Opposites attract. Dry, moist air. Dry, cold air meeting the moist, warm air. And it hits the warm, moist air and weakens, comes back down to the earth, and then changes course to come back up in here. This changing course is in electromagnetism, induction systems. It's to do with the phasing. It's what it does. It's the earth shoots back this way. So you look up induction motors again, you'll see the three-phase system. What's happening? What makes a positive field shoot opposite, go opposite and go negative? This is what's happening. So it's the tropics, the moisture is the opposite. Dry, denser, heavier moisture. So that's the way we see the fields. They come up here. But because they weaken, this is why science hasn't mentioned it. But we'll still get a hazy magnetic field across here because it's just the way it is. But it'll be very weak here. But in reality, that's what it looks like. What you're not going to understand, people can't get their heads around, well, they can't get their heads around this, full stop. But everything in here is our creation. It's all in there. It's all being amplified out. Amplification through frequencies. Inside there is this. This is blown up. The vortex. In here is the Milky Way. There are the planes, the ecliptic planes of the planets, all separated. They don't cross each other's path. This is noted in, Socrates noted this in Plato's dialogues. They don't cross each other's paths. That's the sun. So the magnetic field was there first, built up the pressure. That's the way I say it. It's created the shock of the sun. There's the voltage. Bang. That's their Big Bang theory. And this is bringing it back to their science singularity in there. They know there's the horizon. This is the horizon. There's the Milky Way. Everything shoots back down this way. Everything winds its way up, gets to the top, it comes back in and down through there. Just like vortexing water. It's exactly the same system. Vortex some water, that is the design. That's how it works. Earth continues like this. It's all in a magnetic field. Everything comes out of here, like so. And it comes out of the south and meets like that. And it's this meeting point that drives all the celestial bodies we see out here. Because they're only reflections. It's all projections. This is turning, but at the same time that is turning, the magnetic field is flowing. So you've got the moving of the magnetic field and the turning of the reflection in here, projection. So it's reflected out, being carried around as the centre north turning, but so is the magnetic field. So is the flow of this magnetic field continuously turning. This is Polaris. Polaris is at the centre because the sun's at the centre, just off centre. We see it up here now in the big Polaris rotation. That's Polaris. It's always been the sun, whether it moves there in 26,000 years excuse me, it might move there over 26,000 years, or it might move over there, because it's a vortex and it moves. It's always been the sun, and the sun comes out here as sigma octantis. It's reflected at night. You see it over here. It's fainter, it's a long way away. It's brighter, just there. This rotation out here comes all the way up to the equator. Two rotations, see? Sigma octantis rotation is here. This is your rotation. This is what you see if you're looking south. There's the big Polaris rotation all the way to the equator. And there's a gap. There's a gap between these two rotations. This is where you'll see Orion's belt come through in their spring. The gap between the two rotations. It's all explained in this model. Everything. Frequencies. Everything, the Egyptians, the Greeks, Roman, everything's been left for us. Everything is a message. Fluted columns. What are fluted columns all about? Everything's a message. What's a fluted column? Well, if you go back to Christianity texts, they speak of outward show. There's a clue in the message, in the code. Not that anyone will click onto it. Outward show. This is all outward show. It's a show. Outward. Because in here is inward. You take an outward show, take an outward vertical fluted column, what would be the inverted show? Instead of being vertical, it would be horizontal fluted. Horizontal flutes. Not a vertical column, fluted. Horizontal fluted. Internal. Not external, internal. This is the way our world works. This is a show. Outward show. Inward show. The opposite. In here is the Milky Way. It sits vertical. But we see it at night come out horizontally because it's all projected out. It's reflected out. The top of this is south. That goes over like this. We only see it straight when it's at our zenith. But because we live under this dome-shaped magnetic field, as it moves away, it will curve away. But this end will always be coming from the north. One end of the Milky Way will always be pointed towards the north. Because that's where its foot is. There. But this part here will swing around. So if you can imagine something swinging around under a bowl, the further it goes away, the more it will curve. And then it will curve away at night. You don't see it because you see the sunset. You don't see the Milky Way. So you're seeing it set here. But then you'll be seeing the Milky Way start to appear around here. But the sun is in the Milky Way. Science tells you the sun goes around the Milky Way. But no, the sun sits in the Milky Way. Roger Penrose and them just won a Nobel Prize for the black hole. I've known that for a whole year. I know the Milky Way sits in there. I know the sun sits in the Milky Way. I know that's where their singularity is. Everything passes through the sun. There's a bulge here. The bulge we see in the Milky Way because the sun is inside that bulge. In here, the bulge. All the stars are around here. Cannot live on a spinning ball just because someone's given you a magical word called gravity. You don't need to. We live in a magnetic field. This is the shape of your brain. Same as your brain, right? But when you follow the magnetic fields, there's another shape of your brain. It's all nature. It's all related to the human body. We live in the frequencies. In the beginning was word. And what is word? Frequencies. What you speak. vibration, frequencies resonating through the ether in a wave-like. Just like in here, the light, everything propagates through here. All projections. The sun, moon, star, everything that is projection, because the source is back here, all amplified out. Go look for that word in amplifications and the vacuums. Starts with K. Can't think of the word right now. But that's our system. We can't go outside the magnetic field. Our brain is tuned to this frequency, these resonating frequencies. You'll either lose your mind or die, but who's going to travel that far south? It's been made to stop us travelling that far south. You cannot go there. If you manage to get out there, then you'll die, or you'll lose your mind. Simple as that. In here, we can probably travel around here maybe, but you try flying a plane, high altitude, straight to here. No one's going to do it. Science won't do it. They'll lie, they'll make up stories, all sorts of stories. We've all been there, we've all been here. Anybody can go out to the Antarctic, Scott Base, wherever, but nobody can walk out here. That's way beyond where they settled somewhere here. Scott Base, etc. Maybe there. No one's been out there. You'll die. It's just the realm we live in. All frequencies. Nothing's physical. We're not physical, we think we're physical. We've got 5 senses that tell us we're physical. Everything is based on frequencies and light. That creates our world. You cannot fly out there. See, if NASA told the truth, you'd all come to realise this, but you all believe, most people believe the NASA photographs and all the stuff that goes on up here. No. It's not. The comets are in here. It's all reflected out here. Meteorites, how big are they? Who's seen one? Who's actually seen one fly through the sky and land and gone and picked it up? Not that you would, might be a bit hot. They're just solidified iron and nickel from volcanic dust. It's a magnetic field, for goodness sake. Why wouldn't there be very fine particles of iron and nickel up here? It probably gets recycled through the whole system. It probably comes out of here. There's a magnetic ridge down here. It's the magnetic field it's created here. There could be iron coming up here. But there's certainly some out here from the volcanoes. That's what it's all about. They solidified in the heat, or and did manage to make it to Earth. Then you might find one. Otherwise, what you might see shooting around up here would just be maybe iron and ice. Ice flying through the atmosphere. That's why you never see them at the ground. They just dissolve before they get down here. But any questions in science are all answered here. This sigma octantis, this rotation, turns all the way around over 24 hours. And we can't see it. We can't see it moving because there's always other stars coming in. It's always rotating. You can't see this moving because you've always got your point out here. Look south, you've always got your point. That's a Nobel Prize there. There's a Nobel Prize for that being there vertically. We know that's on that 60-degree angle. But just recently, this has come out. Why are they showing us? Astronomers have found the edge of the Milky Way at last. Why have they put it there? Why have they put it on there? In there? They know darn well that it's 60 degrees off here. That's always north. I could go on and on, but the video's about to run out. But our Milky Way comes out here. If it's spread above your head like that, but if you're standing there, you're going to see it go like this. It goes further away. That's what happens. It'll come in like this, start off like that, get straighter and straighter, and then curve away from you as the sun disappears over the horizon. No, that's the Milky Way at night. It disappears over the horizon. Around here, then starts coming out again. It's always turning in here, 24/7. Everything just keeps turning. Day in, day out, day in, day out. You've got your one side daylight, one side night time, and it's the shifting of this sun. There's your 23-degree ecliptics in here as well, but they alter in the season over the year. Down there, all the way up to there. Just like the human eyesight, spans of 47 degrees. It's like, I'd say tell you 50, that's what it does. That's the altering of the seasons. At the equator, this levels up. In September, it actually comes in, the sun actually wanders in, like this. That's how the moon manages to come into the centre. So the moon will come in like this to the sun. That's the pattern. The sun's offset, there's the centre of the world. Not quite like that, but this is what brings the moon in furthest north, because the sun has wandered and everything's dead level. The voltage on the circuit, when you're on the ecliptic,